off all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night Starcraft.
vVv gaming. You said an interesting choice by RuFF. We'll see what he does with it.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what's going to happen here on Metalopolis. I think I saw a Bubbles versus, or what's Bubbles' other's name? Gosu Rhythm versus Six Jacks DD. Is it Six Jacks DD or Ghost? I forget. But it was at
a Six Jacks anymore.
Huh? Or all right, it was Check Six. At the UCSD Winterfest, and Bubbles had actually chosen Metalopolis against a Zerg player, and I know like I had questioned the thought process behind it, but he just looked amazingly awesome and made me eat my words. So maybe RuFF has some crazy strategy here on Metalopolis specifically that he wants to try and wants to execute. Perhaps some crazy 5 racks into 5 Reaper into 5 Marauder into battle cruisers. Anything is not out of the realm of possibility when you do have RuFF playing these games.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. We'll see if he throws something like that at us again here. But like we've said, Hawk has been so impressive in these first few games of Wednesday Night Starcraft. And we are loaded up here on Metalopolis. We've got vVv RuFF spawning as the red Terran in the eastern position, and his opponent, winner of 2 games so far, spawning as the blue Zerg, will be vileHawk. So cross positions here. It's going to be perhaps a long macro game, and like I said, it can be very easy for a Zerg to basically split the map here, and if you're a Terran, it can be difficult to stop him from doing so.
Yeah, most definitely. I would be surprised. I like to see RuFF to choose Shattered Temple just because I do like his Reaper expansion into the gold, but that is something that he normally does against Terrans. He may try to go for the fast gold once more after holding these Xel'Naga towers. The gold mineral patch is something that is starting to go away in terms of the tournament ladders or the tournament maps, but still, since Metalopolis is an oldie but a goodie of a map, does have 2 of those gold mineral patches in the middle of the map, which are both spottable from these Xel'Naga towers here. As we now see Hawk realizes where RuFF is, he knows that it is going to be a full cross spawn, and with that, it looks like he may change up his build a little bit and perhaps try to go for an earlier hatchery.
I think that's just a scout. He wants to see whether 2 racks is coming or whether he's going to be dealing with some sort of gas. You have to send that drone out a little bit earlier, and it looks like he is scouting for a cheese, and that's really nice. He goes immediately to that gold, and if there were barracks being set up there in 11-11 proxy, it would have been super tough to deal with. So he is going to go for that more traditional 15 hatch, and he did not get a scout yet of RuFF, and RuFF is going for that 2 racks. It was not 11-11, so the second rack is going to be a little bit later, and that is going to allow him to get up the orbital command once the first rack does finish. Go for more of an economic 2 racks if there is such a thing, and we'll see whether he finishes or follows it up with sometimes that 3rd, 4th, and even 5th racks goes all in with Marines.
Yeah, definitely, as we now see another barracks being placed down, so it is going to be a 3 racks build. And most Zerg players, I remember back in the day when Terran players really liked to use dual racks pressure against a fast expanding Zerg until Zerg players felt comfortable enough to fend it off. Now it's almost cyclical in terms of the metagame, where after a while some players just forget how to deal with a particular strategy since it is so old. And if RuFF does come with this triple rack strategy, he may be able to deal a lot of damage here, as his timings look pretty spot on. And is he building a command center, or what is he building? Nope, it is another barracks. So we are now going into 4 racks and still without any gas.
Yeah, we've seen him do 4, sometimes even 5 racks, so we'll see if he peaks up another 150 minerals if he does go for that 5th barracks. Basically a heavy barrack style, something we saw TLO pull off in a few tournaments almost a year ago, where he went for 6 and 7 racks, and just a ton of Marines can be very good, especially against a Zerg player that over drones a little bit, or who doesn't have decent micro with his Lings and Banelings. Banelings don't get speed until Lair Tech, so really no hard counter to Marines unless you really have a ton of ton of lings and you micro them well.
Yeah, and right now you saw one Zergling go down at the hand of 6 Marines. You can see more Marines coming in from behind. Zerglings, and a Queen and a Spine Crawler now being added. The Spine Crawler has to be built rather quickly, as it does have 2 armor in order to just absorb much of the damage from the Marines. And now in comes the engagement here as a bunker is being placed down. The Marines are going after the Zerglings. The Queen unable to get any damage onto that Zergling or onto the SCV so far, as the Marines are going after the Queens one at a time. It looks like some Marines may get taken down. We are now down to 4 Marines, but in come 3 more, so 7 compared to a lot of Zerglings here, as it looks like the SCV will get destroyed. Zerglings are just going to get torn apart here, as we are now seeing a very heavy transition into Zerglings. 14 Zerglings being trained. Meanwhile, we don't see any SCVs being trained by RuFF at all.
Yeah, RuFF, decent economic exchange there. He had to make a ton of Marines, but a lot of Zerglings came out, and he was able to take down quite a few of them. Losses so far is 450 for RuFF, 350 for Hawk, but you have to also think that so many Zerglings here for Hawk, those could have been drones, and he's basically going to have to do some damage with these Zerglings. He's doing a nice job of hiding those up in his main. Speed is about to finish, and that's going to be the time when he can basically put on some counter pressure, take back map control from RuFF. It looks like he's going to do that just now.
Yeah, you can see that the Zerglings are now swarming against the Xel'Naga tower there. They're going to try to open or get their way into the front door. And RuFF, if he's not careful, if he doesn't close that front door supply depot, closing it just now, we'll see what RuFF's going to try to do, as he is opening and closing the door for his Marines and raising and lowering that supply depot like a pro, making sure that Zerglings are unable to run by.
And again, we're getting to the point where there's just going to be so many Marines, and with micro, they're going to melt the Zerglings Hawk has out. So Hawk needs Banelings and decent micro to get some Baneling shots off, or else these Lings just going to be a waste. They could take back map control, like I said, a little bit, and prevent RuFF from expanding. And now we do see that the tech labs being added for RuFF. That means he's going to go for that Reaper transition, but his army is out of position here to defend against these Lings.
Yeah, definitely, as the Zerglings are now just watching that front door. They don't want to engage, perhaps, I guess, curious as to where those mass Marines are. And the mass Marines are coming here on the front door. There is over 24 of them. And now the Marines are going to simply walk up, perhaps take down the Spine Crawler as well. You can see that the Spine Crawler taking a lot of damage, as the Marines are now going to sit on the ramp and now go after some Overlords. Some Roaches are in trouble, as one Overlord does get taken down. A second Overlord going to get taken down as well, as now we see that the Marines are just up against the corner, fighting up against a large number of Zerglings. More Roaches have been added. The Marines just backing themselves in, and it looks like we are going into mass Reapers now with speed.
Yeah, and those Marines, they basically got themselves into a corner there. On creep, got the surround. The Queens were able to attack from the low ground, and because Hawk had transitioned to Roaches there, the Marines basically had nothing that they could do against those Roaches. Like you said, we've got a lot of Reapers coming out here, and RuFF also getting a command center. So I imagine actually double command center. So I imagine he might take the gold with one of those and then take his natural as well, and try to use the hit squad of Reapers to take down some important tech structures. Hawk does see that the factory is in play. It is scouting at the moment, so he knows that there could be drops on the way with a starport, or there could be, I guess, speed Reapers. Probably not something on his radar quite yet, but you know, that is a possibility, and that is what's coming. Yeah,
definitely, as RuFF now transitioning into a double expand. Reapers, Nitro packs do take a bit of time to research, 100 seconds. Harvester count is 33 to 27, but with RuFF, with 1 mule and with 2 additional command centers, he shouldn't be too far behind. And I think at this point, Hawk, whenever you see a Terran player scouting out with the factory, you normally think, okay, it's going to be Terran bio. And then you wait, no, this is RuFF. So what is he going to come at me? And most Zerg players do normally expect siege tanks. So right now, everything is still up in the air. A Zergling now heading over to the Xel'Naga tower is going to spot the command center, now floating its way in, and now in comes the Reapers. 11 Reapers making their way across the map, finishing off a Zergling, and now all of these poor Zerglings need to run home.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether Hawk glanced those Reapers. He saw that his unit went down, but at the tower, but I'm not sure whether he thinks those are Marines or more traditional units. It looks like RuFF is just waiting for the speed to kick in before he does attack. It is done, and now these Reapers going to try to be pesky and do a lot of damage, and Hawk a little bit out of position here. These Reapers going to be able to climb up here, and it looks like they're going to be greeted by Roaches. A decent surround coming from RuFF. or from Hawk, but it looks like some of these Reapers will get in there. Already about half of them have been taken down, and I think that this is not going to work out for RuFF. He's going to do his best to take down drones here, but this is really not cost efficient for him, losing all of those Reapers, and now we see the counter coming from Hawk.
Yeah, right now Hawk has pretty much got RuFF's number. There is mass or Marauders now being trained, but Zerglings trying to take down all of those SCVs. You can see that there is one command center off over here. Upgrading another orbital command is ready, and now perhaps going to go into more reactors and perhaps mass Marines now. And perhaps we will finally see traditional play, as Hawk has a very, very strong economic advantage. 40 drones versus 26 SCVs, and also twice the food count. And now RuFF saying that he screwed up really badly, engaging Reapers with Roaches, Roaches with Reapers, and yeah, just getting all mixed up here.
Yeah, and I love a lot of decisions here from Hawk. He didn't rush a third base, just getting it now. He knows his opponent is just on one base. A lot of Zerg players will rush that third, but that really leaves you open to some sort of craziness and attacks. Instead, he stayed on two bases and made enough units to defend against any sort of all-in, which RuFF did choose to go with. It was the Reapers, and Hawk defended it beautifully. And now he's coming with the Spire, and the Spire is basically the kill shot here, as he knows his opponent invested so much into tech labs, into Marauders and Reapers. He is not going to have any anti-air. He's not going to have, those 20 or 30 Marines he would need to properly defend Mutas. So Hawk, once the Spire finishes, once he comes out with his 6 or 7 Mutas, it's going to be GG for RuFF.
Well, right now, RuFF does have 2 barracks with reactors. He was training, I believe, 6 Marines or 8 Marines at a time, and we'll see if he's going to be able to continue that production. The command center off over here perhaps needs to land, as the Marines and the Marauders are going to try to engage. There are Roaches now down over here. Planetary Fortress trying to upgrade. It doesn't look like the Roaches will be able to take it down, as the Zerglings now going after the Marines. The Marines not even inside a bunker at all, as Zerglings are now engaging, and this is bad news, as the Marines and the Marauders need to run all the way home. SCV's about to get back in as well, as there is one Marine in a very nice position, protected against any Zerglings, and now finishing off many of the Zerglings as well. Harvester count 50 to 24.
Yeah, and a ton of Marines actually popping out, so RuFF doing the right transition here. It's going to be just in time for the Mutas. He's got 15 Marines, and there are 7 Mutas, now 9 Mutas out for Hawk. But again, RuFF does not have any missile turrets set up, so a lot of SCVs are going to go down here for RuFF, and Hawk can just pick the economy of RuFF. It is 52 to 16 Harvesters, so RuFF in a dominated position here by Hawk.
Yeah, right now, RuFF in a little bit of a downward spiral. You can see mules are being called in, and RuFF does have 1 missile turret, but the mule is being very smart, going after the mules, making sure to just destroy any hope, any economy. He knows that every SCV that is destroyed right now is an SCV that will never be able to mine again, and all we have left are Marauders and Marines. And right now, Hawk in a very, very dominant situation. 137 food compared to 48.
57 Harvesters to 2. That basically says exactly what this game's about at this point. RuFF gonna go finally sort of all in here with his Marauders stimming up here. Might be able to take down this half tree, but I think that just the massive amount of units for Hawk gonna get the surround here. RuFF gonna have to give it a GG, and there it is.